Hey guys, Ryan and Greg back for another breakdown. We're on episode 10.
Last week, she wanted revenge, and this week, she gets revenge. Let's jump in.
All right, Greg, so this episode opens up with Liz Taylor at the front desk of Hotel Cortez, and she's kind of reminiscing on what's come and gone from the hotel over the years, what she's seen. Everything new kind of fades, she says, and basically she's seen drug dealers, she's seen affairs go down, she's seen even people commit suicide in the hotel. It's an ongoing thing that kind of just goes on for years and years in the Hotel Cortez.
Yeah, it's like we get a monologue and a montage at the same time, where we're introduced to this old couple who also take their lives at the hotel, which sets up a theme for Liz and Iris for this episode and going forward for the next episode as well.
Have you ever seen anything more beautiful?
All I can see is 8 hours of hard scrubbing gonna take to get the blood off these walls.
The whole thing I was thinking about when I was watching this is the montage of like what was going down in Hotel Cortez. And you and I have discussed this before. Is like, how is this hotel still in business? Like, isn't word of mouth like horrible on or the reviews on this hotel? Like people just go missing all the time throughout the years.
It's cursed. Maybe when you leave, it makes you want to write a great review or something. I don't know. You give it 5 to 10 stars. I don't know. Once you leave, because just like we saw with one expression man himself, John Lowe, he leaves, he forgets everything. So what if you just left that hotel and you're like, you know what? It was pretty great, actually. Now, as we said earlier about the old couple, Liz gets the idea that maybe it's time to take her own life. Iris talks her down because Liz, she also wants revenge on the Countess for taking Tristan's life. And so there's so many emotions going through her at this point. But then they come up with the idea that, you need to handle your business, any loose ends, before you do anything here at the hotel, or you're going to be here forever.
Yeah, and Liz has those, we talked about it before, she still has regrets over, her biological son that she basically just ditched and abandoned back in the day before moving to Los Angeles. So those are the loose ends that she needs to come to grips with and wrap up before she can do anything, even attempt to get revenge on the Countess, because there's a good chance that you're going to die if you do this. It's kind of like a suicide mission yourself. So she has to wrap up those things and make sure that she makes amends with all the regrets she has in her life.
Guessing you have plenty of unfinished business still on your plate.
No, just one. My son. I always meant to put that right.
So sure enough, the next scene, Hazel, for whatever reason, they have the ghost of the hotel call out to reach out to their son, to Liz's son, so they can meet up once and for all. I don't know, maybe they use Facebook, who knows, to get in contact, and then they found a number. I don't know why they use the ghost to call out, when you can't see the ghost on a camera or anything else here in the hotel, but this is AHS logic, so just go with it.
Pretty easily tracked down Liz's son, though. I was kind of surprised how easy it is. Just, I guess you have a name, It's not that hard, but you got a hold of him, and he's going to, from what we learned, he's going to come out and visit and plan a meeting to meet up with Liz.
So back with John Lowe, we get this quick scene where, again, he's the 10 Commandments killer, so he's got to go out and kill someone. So he finds 3 people in a church. And what is it? Thou shalt not... which one was this one?
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Okay, and for whatever reason, he finds these lone 3 people to go after. Cool. And so he takes their ears. He takes someone's ears and brings it back to the hotel. And now we got only one left. One left here. And then he's done.
I wonder who it's going to be. Oh. But yeah, you do see Sally McKenna kind of back still with him and kind of rooting him on, right? Giving him the support and encouraging him and saying, you'll finally be free once you finish this off. And we really don't even know what that means, really. I mean, after he finishes everything, then what? Does he go on and start a whole new type of killing spree?
No, he goes back to his job as a cop. Of course, he's fine. He just needs to go, after he's done with this, he goes back to being a cop, and he raises his kids, just like, everything's back to normal.
That would line up pretty nicely with the type of cops we see in American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Years before they heard the calling of false gods. You're a clever man, John Lowe.
All right, so from last episode, we knew that the Countess and Valentino had basically come up with a plan to get rid of Natasha. We know that the Countess does not care for her. She really just is obsessed and in love with Valentino. But what we didn't know is that in some unfortunate symmetry, Donovan is doing the same type of thing. He's planning the same attack against Valentino, right? He wants Valentino dead because of what he means to the Countess. So both these things, they're cutting between both of these kind of assassinations back to back. And it's very unfortunate because the Countess has no clue what is really going on to the other one, to her love. And it's kind of ironic that they both used a gun to kill the other's lover. And basically you'll find out later on how devastating this is for the Countess.
Both using guns like that too made me wonder. At first glance, you're gonna think, "Oh, did they plan it like this? Was this actually the plan for Donovan and the Countess to be together?" Obviously, the Countess did not know that Donovan was gonna do this, but both using guns and the corny. One of them looks like they're doing the half like corny, like turn the gun to the side, shoot thing, and then you gotta say that one liner, like the "Merry Christmas" after you shoot them. It got a little corny, but
it did.
I mean, they had to kill him. You only got a few hours of this show left, so you got to get him out of the way. And sure enough, there's only a few attractive people left on this show.
Yeah, in Gaga's defense, in the Countess's defense, I don't know if she knows how to use a gun. The Countess is a vampire. She can kill any numerous amounts of ways.
She's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's funny that they're using guns to ultimately kill people, but I was a little bit surprised. Okay, I guess in the American Horror Story universe, you can just kill vampires with regular guns, a bullet to the head. Is that how vampires work here? From what I've learned over the years, vampires are a little bit harder to kill.
Yeah, I don't know. Was it still a silver bullet? I don't know. They're dead. We know that much.
You're not so pretty now, are you?
Now, someone else got revenge in this episode, Matt Bomer, who plays Donovan. He kills Finn Wittrock's character, Valentino, in this episode. And if you remember back to season 4 of Freak Show, it was the opposite. Finn Wittrock's Dandy Mott had killed Andy in Twisty's hideout after he kind of brought him back to hook up over there and brutally murdered him. One of the worst kills from last season of Freak Show. So a little bit of revenge. He gets to kill Finn Wittrock in this season.
This is going to be a reoccurring theme. I can smell it. I know it's going to happen, just like Jessica Lange and Francis Conroy. But it's also a little bit of still the Spider-Man meme when you're looking at him.
Now we head over to James March, and he's doing what he does best, and that is murder people and torture them. This feels like a prequel to Saw, the torture chamber that he's in. And James March is wearing a retro, like a 1920s type radium mask. I guess that was used to to fight cancer back in the day. And he also has like an aviator hat on. I mean, the whole look is very metal. He looks menacing and horrifying in the shot.
It's cool. With that said, I think his last words are, "You're only as good as your words." And he sets the guy on fire, and we get a little bit of body horror.
And I was a bit surprised. I didn't know what the contractor did wrong. I thought he created the wing, like he fixed it up and he put a door on it, all that kind of stuff. But I guess he kind of knows too much information now about the hotel itself, maybe, that it's like, okay, might as well just, tie up some loose ends and kill the guy. That's the only reason I could think about why James March would murder the guy. I thought he did a good job renovating that place, but apparently he was not happy with it.
March just wanted to kill somebody. I think March just wanted to use that machine.
Ever since my death, my hunting grounds have been limited to the confines of this hotel. And as rich as it may be, there are opportunities available to you that I can only dream of.
Now back with John Lowe, he's with Alex. They have reunited at this point for whatever reason. Actually the reason is because Alex needs John's help. Remember those kids she turned a few episodes back? Well, they're still out on murdering sprees. The police can't find them, but Alex sure can because they're vampires, so she can sense where they're at. But she needs John's help, and she's only got so much time. The clock is ticking because the Countess knows, and she told her that if you don't fix this, you and Holden are donezo.
Now, I understand that John wants to help her for his son Holden's sake, right?
Yes.
But I was surprised how like easily he just joins up with her after he knew exactly what she did. He's basically, everything that she did to kind of fake that he was going insane, like she ruined his life completely and the marriage. And now he's completely just gung-ho about joining up and helping her.
Oh, there's a line about that too. They quickly just throw that under the rug. There's a quick line where they bring that up, like, you did this to me, you also made me seem like I was crazy. And then just, Alex says, well, you were crazy, blah blah blah, and that's it. And they move on from there. Like, let's go get these kids.
What a pushover John is, huh?
Forget about John. Scarlett here, there's another one-liner that they just throw under the rug about Scarlett, saying, don't forget about her, she's still your daughter. And then they just move on. They don't say anything else about her. That's it.
I think they both kind of acknowledge like how bad of parents they are. Poor Scarlett's just like at home, just like wondering where her parents are, and they care more about the Holden than they do about her. And she just has like the worst parents in American Horror Story.
The world's worst parents.
At least that's one thing we can agree on.
Actually, Ryan, I can think of a ton of horrible parents in the AHS universe.
I think you mistake my pride for vanity.
That nasty rash will come back. You don't want that, do you?
I certainly hope you don't feel like you have to keep secrets from me.
Not even I could create something as monstrous, as evil as you.
Back at the Hotel Cortez, we're at the bar where Liz is waiting for her son to show up, Douglas, and he does. Sure enough, now it seems like Douglas doesn't know. Apparently, I think he does, but Douglas doesn't know what's going on, or he plays it off like he doesn't know what's going on at the moment with Liz, but they have a nice conversation that goes on for quite some time.
Yeah, truly a little heartbreaking and touching emotional scene for Dennis O'Hare. Obviously, we've said is incredible in this performance throughout.
Best actor of the season, easily.
I agree. And you can see just how emotional this reunion is for Liz to hear kind of the person that Douglas has grown up to become, despite the abandonment, leaving him with his mother. He's become an incredible person, it sounds like, and who has a family, and kind of they have a really good conversation, the best you'd expect at the Hotel Cortez bar, and then as we see later on, there'll be some sort of conclusion to this conversation, but a very, very cool initial meetup between the two.
You shouldn't blame yourself. I'm sure your father had his reasons.
Well, those will be news to me whenever I hear them.
Now, after that, we're back with the Vampire Kids again. The Vampire Kids plot, I was tired of it episodes ago.
Yeah.
But it's still going. It just keeps going and going. These kids are still around. They're annoying as hell. John even showed. I'm like, John, just take him out. At this point, I'm like, just let's end this here.
You're like, just shoot him, John. Just shoot him.
Just shoot him. But no. At that point, now it looks like they're gonna try to bring them back to the Hotel Cortez. They end up doing that because one of the kids passes away from whatever reason, not drinking the blood that they should have been drinking, since they're all vampires now. But with that said, they get him back to the hotel, and sure enough, we get they're the younglings that get Anakin Skywalkered.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Ramona Royale goes Anakin Skywalker on all of them. I agree with you. I think this plot line was just completely stupid and worthless. It really doesn't add anything. And it really shows you how hard it is to get really good child actors in shows and movies. It either works really well or it does not work. And I'm sorry, kids. I hope you all have good careers in Hollywood, but the acting is just so poor in these scenes that it kind of takes you away out of the entire thing.
It doesn't help that John Lowe's there, so the acting here is it's rough all around. But then at the same time, it's tough because at the plot wise, you can't just kill these kids too early because then you might lose your audience if it's done wrong. So they could have done it episodes ago, but they're like, it could get rough if we don't actually like build these kids up as like villains or evil or deserving of whatever death they're gonna get. So you got to build it up the right way in the script. If not, then your audience might lose its mind if you start killing off kids. So they had to figure out a way to balance this. Unfortunately, it took way too many episodes. Back at the Hotel Cortez, the police are talking to the Countess to try to figure out what happened to Will Drake. He's gone missing. She gives him this wild story of where he went the last time she ever spoke to him is when he said, "I do," apparently. And then the conversation's cut short when Will Drake shows up. The ghost of Will Drake, who is now going to be stuck in that hotel for quite some time, comes in there. And I like the little convo he gives them about like, hey, maybe you should check out this room before the Countess is like, okay, all right, that's enough. Everyone, we can leave now.
Sir, your wife was under the impression you'd gone missing.
Missing? No, I was just exploring the new renovation on the 7th floor and got lost in the hallways for 2 days.
It's a fun scene because the Countess obviously is in a surprise that Drake walks in like that at that time, right? But has to play it off like, oh, okay, everything's back to normal, and not. They have to both kind of act cordial enough to each other with other police officers in the room. But as soon as those cops leave and like all is fine, all is back to normal, they have a conversation like, why the hell did you kill me? And basically, she says, she tries to give him the excuse that, hey, you made fun of my son Bartholomew, and I didn't like that reaction. But he knows, and he's much smarter, that like she had planned this for quite some time, and it was her entire plan was to kind of marry him and take all of his money.
Yeah, well, Hazel gave him the heads up, so I have a feeling he knew now from what Hazel told him that she's gonna set you up, buddy. Yeah, and then obviously the Countess was prepared for any number of reactions out of Will Drake. Will Drake says basically, you can't get any of my money. And then she says, yeah, well, it's in Lachlan, your son. He inherits everything. And oh, by the way, remember, you made me his parental guardian. So she can advise him any number of ways. And if he doesn't comply, she can just turn him into a vampire. And then who knows the control that she has over him if he's a vampire. So Will Drake has like no options here. He doesn't really have much to be able to do in order to get back at the Countess, and he's stuck in Hotel Cortez. Greg, I like this attention to detail. Will Drake, if you notice, he's wearing one of those ascot ties, I think it's called, and I believe it was to cover up the scar that Ramona Royale left him last episode when she killed him. She sliced his neck straight across. I think that James March also has a similar tie on him to cover up his scars. It's a cool little attention to detail, for how the person died and how they're trying to cover up those markings in order to appear like they're still alive when they're within the walls of the Hotel Cortez. Now that the kids are put away with Ramona, Alex and John, for whatever reason, are now back together. They are officially back together. They hook up. And this pisses off Sally to no end. At this point, we learn that Alex apparently still doesn't know that John is the Ten Commandments killer, and so Sally and John have a little bit of a scuffle. They even choke each other for a moment, it looks like, and then Sally lets him know that, hey, what's Alex gonna do when she finds out finally that you're the Ten Commandments killer? They brush that off, and then we get one of Sally's, or at least Sarah Paulson's famous at this point Hollywood screams. I love it. I can't get enough of that. She's a great actress. Yeah, she's awesome, and she channels, Sally McKenna's anger and frustration and just complete pain that she has being stuck in the hotel and kind of being discarded and treated like a whore, as she says, probably countless times by many people throughout her time there. And John is just the latest example of treating her like crap. And when he needs her, he's there, and when he doesn't, he just kind of discards her to the side, and she's pretty much fed up. So, John, watch your back. I'm just surprised at how quickly him and Alex are back together and acting like one big happy family. Alex then takes him down to the the video game playroom and reintroduces him to Holden. And then it takes this weird turn where, like, I guess they're just apparently gonna all leave and try to like act like none of this happened and go back and live a happy life as a family. So they leave the hotel, and like you said, Sarah Paulson promises that she will
kill him.
I'm going to kill you! I swear on my soul I'm going to kill you! John! Ah!
Now back with Liz and her son Douglas. Now I got a bad feeling in my stomach that this was just going to end with like Douglas throwing water on Liz or beer and running out. That did not happen. It ends on a great note. They have this weird line about Pedro and real world. It's very strange, even for the time period they wrote this episode. I'm shocked they made the script. But with that said, it actually ends on a nice note, even with Douglas telling, Liz that, you weren't there for me. But with that said, I still want you a part of my life.
Yeah, and it completely changes Liz's purpose and drive in life, right? Earlier in the episode, she was ready to kill herself, coming so far as to holding the gun and pointing at herself. But then now, after, taking the risk and a leap of faith to come face to face with her son and, try to tie up those loose ends and the regrets and deal with those and make amends for the mistakes she made in her life. And now getting to hear how Douglas feels about her and wanting to be a part of her life and her a part of his life. Now there's something to live for. And, quickly she reveals to Iris that she's not ready to just come on a, double commit suicide together. And she cares way too much about her life now that her son is back in it. So Iris has a whole another plan though, right? With all those guns and weapons on the bed there.
That is true. But before that happens, Iris shows like this slideshow edited, this video that she edited together. And it is adorable. I'm not going to lie. I want that shot of her and the cat is going to be my background on my desktop wallpaper for a very, very long time. It's
Even more than that, Greg, I think that we all need to see your little slideshow that you made at home. Come on, share it with us, please.
Absolutely. Now from there, we head back to Donovan and the Countess, where Donovan lets her know again that, he killed Valentino. So, at this point, Countess is like, whatever, I got to go see the body. And then we get this gnarly shot because, again, we have to see it. The audience needs to see the body. So Finn Red Rock is down there on the ground, and there's just bullet holes everywhere. It's awesome. It's gnarly.
What an awesome dummy shot there.
Yes, huh? I love that they actually had to go for it too, and they didn't need to. They already showed him he's shot. He's dead. We know he's dead. But the Countess has to go confirm this, and so we get a cool shot of the body. Now, with that said, the Countess is heading back to the Hotel Cortez. I'm shocked that Donovan did this, knowing that she's the one that turned him in the first place. Long living vampire. And I just killed her first lover. Sure, so nothing bad's gonna happen to me. And he's just dancing out to Hotline Bling. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's a sign of the times, right, Greg? It's a popular song. I guess when it's your final moments, you're gonna just be dancing to yourself to a song that's catchy. But yeah, like you said, he killed the vampire that created the Countess. Not only a vampire that meant great deal to her, but also her creator. So Donovan took a major swing right here in order to get her attention. And as we see their conversation, he basically reveals that this is the only way he can get her attention, that he cares so much about her that he'll die for her. And it's kind of a weird, heartbreaking, but also beautiful moment that even she acknowledges that, he cares for her so much that he would do this, that he would give up his own life and sacrifice everything for her. But then it gets interrupted, right?
Yeah, this is, even at the time, I was like, okay, I can see how this might be corny, but I dig it. The doors, they burst open. Hotline Bling blast, and you can see just Iris and Liz start just going to town, firing at them in slow motion. I dug it. I like it. It's cute.
Used to call me on my cell phone.
Greg, when I first saw this, since we don't see the reverse shot, we don't see what happens, but all we see is the guns blazing, walking through the door. My initial reaction was, is this like a Pulp Fiction moment? Is this divine intervention?
Ah, you motherfucker!
I had a feeling when I first watched this that next episode we're gonna see that Iris and Liz are such horrible shots with those guns that they may miss their targets completely, and that everyone's fine, the Countess is fine, Donovan's fine.
This was divine intervention. You know what divine intervention is?
We'll have to wait till next week in order to see exactly what happens to these two. Only 2 more episodes of this season left. Greg and I will be back next week, guys. We hope you guys are taking care at home. Everyone be safe, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Hit us up in the comments.
Later, guys.